Sean. What a cool event. It's good to be able to come back to Mega Training 2 years after doing the Member of the Year and be able to do this. And it's cool to just show really what the pages have done, what we've done, and what your next people, just to show you what you can do when you come to these kind of events and apply yourself and move forward. So like Sean said, we are with Delta Life Fitness. It's a women's only group training facility. So I don't know if you guys know or not, but the two guys that created Curves, you guys, who remember Curves? You guys remember Curves? Two dudes from Texas. So something about two guys from Texas and women's only models. I'm not sure how that happens. But what is Delta Life? You guys can take a glance up there if you're not familiar, but easiest way to think about it is Delta Life Fitness is kind of like the old Curves meets an Orange Theory meets a CrossFit. That's what it is today anyway. We're going to tell you a story about how it definitely did not start off that way and how we were able to push it down this road. So background, we're going to tell you a little bit about our personal stories, and then we're going to tell you about Delta Life and some of our initial goals, and then walk you forward from there.
Okay, so my story, I'm not really from the fitness world. I'm actually an electrical designer, kind of in the engineering world, but my journey into the fitness world was actually a little different. Back in 2009, I was in a cubicle farm. I remember standing up looking for my red stapler. Anybody Office Space? And I realized I wasn't being the father, the man, the husband I should be. I was slightly overweight, coming from sitting behind the desk. So luckily for me is that my brother-in-law was Marine Corps, so he knew a lot about working out and getting in shape. So he moved closer to us, so I got to spend a lot of weekends with him. And then from there, I got little tips from him. I started asking him questions, so I went home and I actually started executing and delivering on that. And I found out, hey, I feel really good. I can get up, I can play with my kids, I can work out, and then all of a sudden I had a passion for that, but also I wanted to help other people that lost their way, other people that necessarily, just let life get in the way. So I started a boot camp in the park in 2013. You can see that down there in the picture with my little girl and about, that one's actually big. The first one I had about 5 clients there. I begged my mom and my cousin to show up so I wasn't the crazy guy in the park. But you can kind of see that was my journey into the fitness world. I'll let my partner tell you his story.
Yeah, and that was, so Robbie also started, you can see the one on the right and the one on the top left. Robbie started one in a warehouse, and calling it a facility would be a very loose term.
That's a stretch.
Not as bad as the one with the deer urine we're going to talk about in a minute. That's one of Sean's favorite stories. We actually had a warehouse boot camp that was next to a deer processing plant, and it's not good. So yeah, I'm Josh, and like he said, I was in the Marine Corps, joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school. It's kind of how I came into the physical fitness world to begin with. I was what you call a PTI in the Marine Corps, a physical training instructor, so I helped get young Marines ready to either go off to OCS, Officer Candidate School, or get ready to deploy, and I kind of wrote their nutrition and their workouts, and one of my son was in Cub Scouts, and one of the Cub Scout moms came up and asked me if I would do a workout there at the school one morning for them, and that's when I realized that civilians will pay to work out. Didn't know that was the thing, but apparently it is. So top left, that's in College Station, back when Delta Life first kicked off as 100% of boot camp. Long story short, Marine Corps had moved me to Florida, so we had to sell our first facility in Texas, and we opened the gym you see, my wife there, Kristen on the right, and our first warehouse-style gym in Florida. So that's kind of where we are up until this point, right? Robbie's running a store in the warehouse in Texas. I'm 4 states away in Florida, running one in the warehouse over in Florida. And we both still have full-time jobs. I'm still at this point, full-time Marine Corps, working there all day, trying to run some classes in the morning, run some classes in the evening. Robbie's doing the same thing, I'm sure a lot of you guys in this room know what that's like, coaching classes at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work all day, and then coach some classes in the evening. So that's kind of where we are prior to coming into the net profit explosion world.
So challenges at that point, where do I get started? Systems, trying to run a gym really with no background on how to run a business. So the systems really weren't there on how to hire, how to even take clients in, how do I sell, how do I do any of that. People walking in, walking out, I'm waving at them, hoping they just come throw money at me. So happened they didn't. Living off challenges, no EFT. Every week we're running some type of discount, some type of 14-day special. It was very confusing for our staff, very confusing for our clients. It was confusing for everybody. We weren't getting the EFT, we were living off 100% challenges and sales pages and different things like that. knowing and tracking your numbers, it sounds, like you should be doing that, but unfortunately, we weren't that early on, and having the tools and the know how to do it. Pricing and packaging, we didn't have any. Like I said, we were living off.
Packages to price. Yeah.
We were living off, EFT and different things like that. Hiring staff, we all know the struggles with that, and having no systems, no understanding. Coming from the engineering world, I was already an awkward guy. Coming from the engineering world, trying to hire somebody, then train them, all that stuff scared me. And then just another boot camp. We had no special thing about us. We were organized chaos. You came in, there was nothing different between us and the person right down the road. We'd have trainers leave and go open up in the church, and they were the same thing as us, offering the same price, and how do we differentiate from those people? So we had to really work on that. Then mission, vision, and core values. I know Josh is very strong about this, and really the mission, vision, and core values of our company. He'll hit on it a little bit later, but that's really what made the growth happen so fast. A lot of people got behind what we are and who we are, and it really propelled the business up forward.
Yeah, this is a pretty small list of the actual challenges we were facing 2014 before getting into Accelerator to begin with. I think it would have been easier to just put up there what we had figured out, which was getting people to show up to a park, I guess. That was about the only thing we had figured out. And that stuff that he's talking about, the pricing and packaging for it to make sense so that we could then make sales, so that we could then hire staff and start working ourselves out of it. And then being able to create, everybody hears it all the time, right? Like hire, fire, and train to your core values. We didn't know anything about any of that stuff. We didn't know business at all. We were just literally, this is 4 years ago, some dudes in a park telling people to do jumping jacks. Basically, we were a ticking time bomb, and luckily for us, Sean knew it, NPE knew it. They kind of saw the competition we were going up against, the different boot camps. We were a ticking time bomb. I say that. Our initial goal was just to make $8,300 a month because we thought it'd be cool if we could make $100,000 in 1 year. But the reason we were a ticking time bomb is because that's all it's ever going to be, right? Just some extra cash. And that's kind of that's one of the things we wanted at the beginning was Robbie just wanted to take a vacation to DC, and he wanted to save some money for that. So, but anything beyond that, I was going to continue to have to be in the Marine Corps. Loved the Marine Corps, but I was definitely going to have to stay in for 20 years until I retired. Missed a lot of time with my family early on. We didn't have any sort of proven record. And Delta Life, up until that point, we're literally just 3 boot camp warehouses when we get hooked up with NPE in 2014. It says 3. One of them was my dad's that I pretty much ran. Robbie's in Texas and mine in Florida. So this is where we are. This is where the business is prior to working with NPE in 2014. Again, it's so big and so important. I talk about it a lot in this talk. We had no mission, vision, and core values, no goals, no roadmap, no idea how to move forward. We just knew we wanted to move forward. So NPE comes in 2014. If anybody in here knows Robbie, trying to get Robbie to spend any money is a very hard act to do. He doesn't like to, but finally, in 2014, I talked Robbie into letting me buy Accelerator. I told him this was going to be, and Robbie gets tired of hearing me say this over the last 5 or so. We're brother-in-laws too, by the way, if you guys haven't, if you don't know that. Worst brother-in-law in the world. He's the less attractive one, obviously. So finally go to Robbie. Go to Robbie in 2014, I tell him, this is going to be the thing, man. How many times have you guys done that? This is going to be the one that pushes us over the limit. We got to get this accelerator. It's going to be the greatest thing. Luckily for us, NPE is a very rare tool, right? Look around at what Sean and the NPE team have built out of these same systems that he passes down to us. How cool is that? He continues to grow. There's nowhere else in the industry you can get this. He continues to grow and learn and get these tools and then push them back down to us. And we were talking to Katrina out in the hallway. You can take these same tools and scale them. It's amazing. It's amazing how much he puts into that. So we find NPE. We start going through Accelerator. We get hooked up with Mr. Mark Norton over in the back. He was our coach. And I think Mark will attest that the one thing we are good at, we talk slow, but we work really fast, right? So we went through the curriculum really quickly. We went through all of Accelerator. We implemented everything he told us to. We just took massive action. We're very coachable. We took the material from Accelerator and implemented everything in about 90 days. We got a sales engine running because we didn't have one of those. Like we told you, we implemented AutoCloser. A lot of you guys probably start with AutoCloser. We started with AutoCloser. Then we started to nail down who's our target persona. And when Robbie and I see a better way, we make up our minds very quickly and we move forward. We decided that we took it a little too literal. You're supposed to pick your target market and then kind of build a product for them. We said, okay, women is our best customer. So Robby went to his gym the next day and told the men that he had bought him a membership down the road and they couldn't come train with us anymore.
Yeah, so. I mean, it was super uncomfortable, but it happened.
You got to be careful coaching Robby and I, because we just head down and just go straight to the wall, do whatever I think Mark or Sean or anybody would back us up on that. So we created a mission-based movement. When I thought it was so silly when one of the first things, I just spent all this money, I wanted to learn all these things to get more members. All I want is marketing. And they want me to sit down and make a mission, vision, and core values. I was like, what the heck is that? Well, I can tell you, right now, there's 22 gyms of ours across the country right now kicking butt and training classes because those employees are pumped up and motivated about delivering our mission. They could care less about me and Robby, but they're on fire to deliver that mission to empower women through group training. And then everything you build comes around that vision, that mission, and those core values. So if you haven't looked at that part in a while, go back and retweak those for sure. Our action steps, I can still hear Mark saying in my head, what are the numbers, Josh? I'd tell him some crazy plan that I'd want to, I'm going to try this, Mark, to get more people. And he'd say, okay, what do your numbers say? And he was really hard on that. So one of the biggest action plans Mark made us do was keep our KPIs, or key performance indicators, and know our numbers. Create and implement the systems for all the phases of the customer lifecycle. Again, a tool that Sean and NPE team give us that can scale across any type of business, knowing and understanding your customer lifecycle, and then building those systems for each phase. Auto closer is a great one for the sales process, right? And then drop the boot camp. We joke, we're like the Facebook movie, drop the, and then we became Facebook. Sean instantly saw that way before we did. He's like, look, you don't need to compete in the weight loss industry. You don't need to be just a boot camp. Drop the word boot camp. So that was one of our first action steps also, was trying to move away from that warehouse model and being just a boot camp to becoming an actual fitness studio.
All right, so when NPE and Delta Life came together in 2014, Josh luckily talked me into unloading the cash to do it, and it really changed our lives. So in 2014, we enrolled in the accelerator and really started taking action on the sales system, really understanding. I remember being at a folding card table in a warehouse with a deer stand as an office, sitting down, showing somebody a slide, trying to sell a membership. It's pretty funny. I wish I would have took some videos of it. 2014, implementing tracking and auto closer. 2015, we finally upgraded to VIP and attended VIP University. Went through all the VIP curriculum, and one of these things leading up to when we joined the VIP, we went to an event there in San Diego, and it's actually one of the most pivotal times in the probably last couple of years in the business, and really me personally. I sat down with Sean for breakfast. First time I actually met Sean, we sat down for breakfast in San Diego, and he heard our story for about 5 minutes. He stopped and he said, hey, Josh was having to move to California because the Marine Corps called him up and said, hey, you need to move over here. And he said, Rob, if you want this thing to work, if you want to be a part of it, because this thing's going to grow fast, if you want to be a part of it, you need to move. And I was like, what do you mean move? He's like, you need to pick your family up right now and move to Florida. And, so very quickly I said,
owned a gym in Texas, had to leave that and pick up his entire family and move 4 states away to Florida to take over headquarters while I had to leave.
So Josh laughed because very quickly I said yes, because Sean was somebody I looked up to. He was somebody that was coaching me at the time, we wanted to coach me, and it's what he told me to do, so I needed to do it. So I remember leaving the meeting, called my wife and said, hey, stop everything you're doing. Pull the kids out of school, we're moving to Florida. She's like, what do you mean? I said, we're moving to Florida. She started crying, I was emotional. We were building a house, our kids were enrolled in school. All of our family was there, so I got home, told my mom and dad. They're like, you're going to be crazy to move to Florida. But 3 weeks later, I got a moving van, and I'm moving to Florida to take over headquarters and grow this thing. And it really was, I think, a point in my life where I said, hey, I'm ready to put this thing all in. I'm ready to see this thing grow, and I'm willing to risk everything, quit my job, and threw out every, cash my retirement in and said, okay, let's go. But it grew me as a leader. It grew me as a person. Before this, you wouldn't have seen me up here. I'd be the guy in the back in the back of the room. I was the electrical engineer guy. I was super awkward. So really the leadership that they gave me, the confidence it gave me to do all that stuff. And then 2016, Sean talked us into it, to join and go to the IFA event. Really was a pivotal point in our life because we walked into a room where we were no longer, nobody knew us, nobody respected us, and we actually being a license, people didn't even want to talk to us. And to me, and to Josh both, when we walked in that room, it really made us mad. So at that point in time, we said, know what? We're going to be a franchise. We're going to go to IFA, and next year we're going to be the biggest fitness franchise. But that didn't happen. But it pushed us. It pushed us to a point to take the next step and take a big investment and take a lot of time and money investment to be a franchise.
2015, about 2 weeks after Robby had moved to Florida, we came to Orlando and went to Mega Training, and we were up to 7 gyms at that point. A whole new business, already from what we were when we first came on and started working with Mark. And we did the Member of the Year presentation and won Member of the Year that year in 2015. With, like I said, we were right at, I think we had just opened our 7th studio in 2015. So results, we like to talk about the numbers, the pages numbers that they just showed you. Those always motivated me. I remember sitting out there watching the pages numbers. It motivated me to do better. Our unit level economics dramatically increased. Instead of just trying to get that $8,330, we went to $30,000 and above for unit level economics. We gained mission obsessed partners. That's what I was telling you guys about a minute ago. By nailing down those mission, vision, and core values, I now know what it means to actually be able to hire to a set of core values after going through the tools and the curriculum that NPE's built. And it's a game changer. Faster growth, more units in franchising, because we had the systems that you learn way back in Accelerator, and when you first start doing the VIP track, those systems that you have, it's going to help you if you ever choose to sell your business, if you want to pull yourself out and not have to be a slave and up there working and doing everything yourself, or if you ever want to hit scale and open multiple units, you got to set those systems up. So we had that, and it allowed for us to start scaling with more units and more franchising. We got a master franchise agreement in California. Robby and I didn't even know what that was, but a big investment firm in California that owns about 126 restaurants saw what we were doing with our model, came to us and bought a master franchise agreement. So bought 30 of our stores to open in California. They've opened the first 2 in San Diego already. And we found out yesterday, one of them hit their yearly sales goals yesterday, way early for the year. So that's pretty cool. Our entire mindset changed, from when we first started doing this and we started chasing this dream. We wanted to have something that would allow us to quit the day job, but taking those tools that I was telling you about that NPE gives you that can scale across any level. We stopped thinking about trying to make $8,000 a month. I mean, just our entire concept of how this stuff could work has changed and evolved dramatically. And I don't put that last one up there to brag at all. It's just to show you the difference. We wanted to make $8,000 in a month, and so far our best day ever has been $150,000. That was a good day. So yeah, our just entire mindset has changed, and those are some pretty impressive results. I'm really proud of those, and there's no way we could have done it without all the help from Net Profit Explosion. And it goes beyond just us being able to quit our full-time day jobs and be able to follow our passion and build a business. We've been, just this year, we've been the featured article in club industry magazines 4 times this year. We were the Net Profit Explosion Member of the Year. We've been featured on all the big news sites. Robby and I get to travel around and do what we love. We get to do radio shows and podcasts and just really get to live our dream that we so badly wanted just 4 or 5 short years ago.
So before and after NPE, before you see the warehouse, in the warehouse row down there, and then now look at us, we're all over the country, and we're opening units, and people are working right now and spreading and helping more people, and we're changing more lives than I ever thought possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And more than just having studios all across the country, it's the type of spaces, right? That was 3 years after working with NPE, you've got Robby in a park on the left, 3 years of implementing this curriculum. And we didn't have money. There was no magical money that came out. We generated this revenue out of the park. We had $0 to invest when we were in the park. And then 3 years later, after working through the NPE curriculum and working with our coach, and like I said, when they tell us something, putting our head down and just going as hard and as fast as we can, having those units open from coast to coast, and the units look dramatically better than they once did. What's next for us and goals? So next for us, we just got done building this new prototype This is our newest franchise replicable model that we're super excited about. Our workouts at Delta Life are called Tone and Torch. This is going to be Tone and Torch 2.0. We're getting ready to open 3 of these in Houston right now, and all the ones that open from here on out will look like this.
So our goals for the next 3 years are 200 units at least in the pipeline, getting ready to build out. Significant market share in the boutique space. We're looking to compete with Orange Theory, Cycle Bar, those guys. We're looking to compete really hard in that space and really, grab our piece of it. And to become the industry thought leaders in terms of pricing, the way we look at other industries, the way dynamic pricing works in the airlines and in the hotel industry. What are the strong brands? How do they position that? And how do they continue to be a strong brand and use dynamic pricing? And then become in wearable technology. Hey, we all know wearable technologies happen. How do we push that? How do we gamify the workout? How do we include that inside the workout to get a better experience and to keep the client longer in our facility? So,
and these are cool problems that excite me and Robbie and keep us like super interested. We get to be actual thought leaders in how wearable tech and gamifying that in the studio is going to produce more results and better wellness for our members. Like, that's a fun problem that we get to work on because we dove in on those. We made that mission, the vision, the core value, the stuff that you don't want to spend the time working on. We did those type of problems early, so now we get to do fun stuff that we really enjoy trying to solve. Key lessons that we've learned along the way. If I could go back even 3 or 4 years ago, just get the coaching early. Even now I know, like, we're trying to build a franchise. There's a lot of people out there who've built franchises. I just go ask them, hey, give me your playbook. Same thing you guys are trying to do. Somebody's been there and done that. They're probably in this room. Just get coaching early. Start with that mission, vision, and values. I talked about that a lot. Take massive action and keep moving up to bigger rooms.
yeah, guys, and this is our final little talk here. So on me is I've got an associate's degree in applied science. I'm nothing special, guys, but don't be afraid to ask your universe whatever you want. Get down, go to work, and you can achieve whatever you want.
Yeah, and we were going to end on something really motivational, but the pages stole our dance, so we don't have a dance for you guys. I apologize. That was supposed to be our exit, but again, Sean, NPE team, everybody that came, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.